Hey guys, welcome to our new show, Popcorn Bunkus, where we talk about films and other stuff related to them. So let's just tap all your popcorn and soft drinks from your nearest cinema and enjoy the show. I'm YB.
And I'm Liam.
So what will be the first thing we are going to talk about in our first episode?
Today we are going to talk about the new, very divisive film, Barbie.
Okay. Yeah, by now I think everyone knows this film, and I think every one of my friends are going to watch it. And
Oh,
yeah,
really? Every
yeah,
one of
yeah,
your
yeah.
friends? Really? Because
Because
I know my brother is still refusing to watch it, and I know a lot of other my friends are also on the fence of whether to watch it or not. Some still feel it's like a kids movie or something because of its the trailer can be a bit misleading, of course, with its like pinkish bubbliness and comedic elements. Yeah, some would think from the trailer like it's for kids, and it is a Barbie movie, but it's just so much more. It's just so much more. I'm also like pretty shocked and in awe of how deep this film goes into like some of its themes, and yeah, and that's pretty much why it's very divisive. And yeah, the reviews you see on Google, like the 5 stars and the 1 stars are
yeah,
like 50-50. It's at a
true.
3 on Google right now, and the IMDb is also only at like a 7.5, but that's decent for like some of those other films that have came out for the past few months, even for the past few years. But yeah, still a very divisive film. But in Letterboxd, because they're all Letterboxd consists of more film buffs.
Yep.
So the reception on Letterboxd is like pretty. It's better. It's better than other
Uh,
platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like I need to go back and explain why I said that because I think every one of my friends they are quite curious about it, and because
Ah,
like how can we tell a story about Barbie like and
yeah.
without like effing it up? Yeah,
Mm,
how can you tell a story like that without effing it up? Because we see so many like adaptations that really F it up. Like I would think that there are just a few that are good, like The Last of Us, and yeah, and then that's video
oh,
games.
oh,
And but then this
okay.
when we talk about toys, it's like Transformers is the biggest franchise
Yeah,
that
yeah.
came from a toy, and it's the only successful franchise. And then you have G.I. Joe,
True,
which
true.
failed miserably. And then you
Yeah,
have all these toys, like toy makers that are trying to make money from movies but failed. But I think Barbie is different. And then this is the first thing. Then the second thing is the meme about the Barbenheimer thing,
yeah.
like about going into both screenings at once, which I don't recommend. I really don't
Why?
recommend.
Why? Why?
I would think that you can I swear?
Yeah, yeah,
I would think that you can you don't mind fuck yourself 2 times in a day lah. I think these two films right
yeah.
should be
That's
watched.
yeah.
These
That's
two
true.
films should be watched individually,
That's
and
true.
after you watch it, you must have some time to think about it. And I think that yeah, you need to watch it at least in 2 separate days, like back to back. It's okay to watch it back to back in on 2 different days, but don't
Yeah.
watch it consec yeah don't watch it like after you watch the first one lah.
You know, the general recommendation for the Barbenheimer double feature is that
Yep.
you watch Oppenheimer in like the morning, and yeah, it's 3 hours, and then you take a break for lunch, and then go for a walk to like digest what you just saw, and then clear your mind, and then you go to watch Barbie in the afternoon or the evening. So there is still like wiggle time. But after I just got back from watching Oppenheimer, and I actually agree. It's, yeah, watching two of these
Yeah.
films uh, in the same day could be like, it could be a challenge, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And then another thing about my friends is that they all think that they all would prefer to watch Barbie than Oppenheimer.
Really?
Because Barbie is like something they are familiar with.
Uh-huh.
Even boys, not just
Uh-huh.
girls. Yeah, even boys, they are all thinking about, oh, how can we make it? And then now it has become a meme, and then everyone is so curious about it. So, but then my brother just told me that he don't like the movie lah. He don't like Barbie. I think
Ah,
but so I think that you're right. It's a divisive film
yeah.
where I think the opinions are strong, and then
Yeah.
especially along political ideologies. Yeah, in different political ideologies, particularly in that because
Yeah.
before I saw the movie, I saw a lot of reviews by a lot of people. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say like from which part, but
Okay.
the people from one side would praise it as a
Yeah.
film that is quite meaningful. The other side would think that it's a lecture. Yeah,
Yeah.
I fall
Yeah. I
somewhere
can.
in
Okay.
between. I fall somewhere in between. To be honest, I fall somewhere in between. So yeah, we can talk about it later. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would like to hear your thoughts about the film, like your personal thoughts about the film before I talk about mine.
Yeah. Sure. My experience with it is like kind of fascinating in a sense. You know, when I first walk out of the theater, I was
Mm.
thinking, I'm still processing it, but like I think like the dialogue was too preachy, and I have some problems with the editing, and it's a bit like hit or miss for me.
Yeah,
But
I think that day we messaged each other, right, talking about it. Like
yeah,
I think we watched it on the same day, right?
really,
Is it? Is it
I
on the same
watched
day?
it last Sunday. I watched it on the
Yeah, we,
Sunday.
we
Yeah.
watched it on the same day, lah.
Ah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
posted a story and then I think
Ah.
you
Ah.
replied my
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think that on that day my thoughts are the same as yours, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what's the point where you really change your mind about it?
Well, after that, I got to sit with the movie with a while, let it marinate in my head, and then I watched it with my dad,
Yeah.
and the journey back from the cinema back to my house, the entire trip we were discussing about certain points of the movie that we like did not really grasp and try to find like different meanings, try to interpret it in different ways and dissect the themes. And it's like pieces of the puzzle, like
Coming
uh,
together.
yeah, coming together
Yeah.
and forming a picture, and it just clicked and clicked and clicked, and then I liked the movie more and more, and then I also read some reviews,
Mhm.
watched like some film buffs review it on YouTube, and I came to understand more of what it's trying to say, what it's trying to convey, and yeah, even the dialogue, the preachier dialogue that I thought was like too over the top, I came to like, in my opinion, my interpretation is that it is part of the comedy because
Ah.
it is a satire. It is a very highbrow satire,
Yep.
and yeah, I had an absolute blast in the screening. Okay, the spontaneous reactions from the
Yeah.
crowd were so radiant and infectious. It was so fun. I had a great time with the movie, and a lot of these jokes, literally, like all the jokes worked for me. Like I was laughing throughout. And a lot of these jokes are elevated beyond the typical slapstick comedy with its more sophisticated and intellectual nature. And it feels broad in a sense that it contains so many layers now that I like realize what's underneath them. You know, the best comedy infuses commentary within the humor. It's like a combination of highbrow and lowbrow humor that worked extremely well for me because a lot of it is like satirizing the Barbie product.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I was beaming with awe and joy, and I was howling in my seat. I had a great time.
Yep. For me, it's almost the same. I think that I think that all the jokes work for me. Yeah, even
Yeah.
from the start, like even from the start when the song comes in, and then like all the details they put into the song is like I was like, okay, I'm sold on this. I'm sold on this
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
start during the opening. I mean, after the part
Oh.
the 3000 and what is the film the film that is satirizing again
2001,
yeah
A Space
2001
Odyssey.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah after the part and then we start with the Barbie Land things and all that. Yeah, I was sold on the movie at that point. But
Oh
then
wow.
I think um but then the negative part comes in. I mean, I think at the third act,
Really,
third
the
third
third
act of
act.
the movie. Yeah, for me it's I think the third act for me it's a bit some part of it for me is like, oh, okay, this goes into the preachy territory
I
where
felt the
I think
okay.
I think it's at the end of the second act until the third act where they find the way to break the curse or to break
You
the
okay?
mind controls thing, the preachy
Yeah.
stuff where the person talks about a lot about the experience and all that.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
me, that part I was not that sold. It's not that. Okay, let's just be clear.
Okay.
I'm not a misogynist. Okay, to
Yeah.
be honest,
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm actually I read a lot about feminism and gender issues and all that. I read a lot on it because and I've written about it in essays and all that and then
Yeah.
yeah and then for me right it's kind of that part
Yeah.
is kind of worse than reading a book. Yeah, the whole part. I
Interesting.
actually
Okay.
have this on my
Okay.
screen now, where the part. Yeah, we can talk about it later.
Okay.
But then for me, that part really a bit made me like actually exited the movie from then on. Actually, my
Really.
experience of
Really.
the movie
Okay.
actually like I took a step back after that
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think
You
that
pull out of the movie. Yeah.
yeah I feel like ah
Interesting.
okay
Okay.
you
Okay.
I mean for me right it's like you can tell me about all this stuff but tell me in a way that is entertaining.
Yeah. In a
Yeah
more
you
subtle way.
yeah I mean it's a satire. You can do it in
Yeah.
your jokes. I mean
Yeah.
I get it from the start what you are trying to do. I mean
Yeah.
after you go into the real world the part where you go into real world I get all those stuff. Some people may think that it's a bit too like you said in your review right like some people may think that it's a bit awkward. It uses stereotypes and all that but for me it's I'm sold on that. I'm really sold on that because I think that
Yeah.
that is high quality comedy. It's like good comedy but when it came to the part where the monologue starts, I feel a bit yeah, I just don't think it's good storytelling at that point. Uh
Yeah. That's
but
kind
but
of
the
true.
but the point that but the thing that they use it as a plot device for them to break the mind control, that part I like it. I just don't like the content of it. It's like a bit too preachy lah for me. It's like the director going in front
Yeah.
of the camera and telling you
Yeah.
what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for
Yeah.
me like what I think. It's like no, it's not good storytelling for me. But we
Yeah.
can talk
Yeah.
about that later because I have quite a lot to talk about on that lah. Yeah, but then now I think we can start with the things that we see in the movie, like the technical things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think can we just start with the art department because I think the art department is the best part of the movie and also
Hands
the
down, of
yeah
course. Yeah. Definitely. The production design. This has to win the Oscar for production design. I'm telling
yep
you this. It's a shoe in at this point. It just screams Oscar for production design and costumes.
yeah it's
The,
so
yeah.
showy.
Yeah, it's very showy, it's very colorful, and it pops out. It has personality. The Barbie, the dream houses, and the different like the planes and the backgrounds, the sets. It's so well done. It's so
Yep
well lit. a lot of people they forgot about the cinematography, the lighting.
Yep.
It's shot in they because Barbie was born in like 1950s or 1960s, so
Yep.
they Gregory decided to incorporate some of the more old school filmmaking techniques. You know, the soundstage.
Yeah,
They
like the
just
golden age of
build
cinema,
these,
something like
yeah,
that, right?
yeah. They just build these sets and then just shot it practical. And
Mm.
of course, it's so detail oriented. The production design, there is this meticulous attention to detail. And I also heard that this movie caused, because it takes so much pink paint to like build the sets, it caused an international shortage of pink paint.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think that the set design is, I think, right. So for me, right, as a person learning about films, is that when you want to do something, when you want to go with a style, you go with it 100%. I
yeah.
think this
Of
goes with it
course.
like 200%. It's like it's
Yeah,
like so detailed
yeah,
in the Barbie Land part,
yeah, yeah.
and then their wardrobe is also so good that when they are out in the real world, you see the contrast.
Yes, exactly. But
Yeah,
yeah, it the real world in comparison to Barbie Land is so
boring.
dull and
Yeah.
dreary and uninspiring. I kind of it. I think they did a little bit too much with the washed out colors of the real world. It feels
Mm,
desaturated. But of course, it enhances the contrast. It enhances the colorful nature of Barbie and Ken, and how much they stand out compared to people in the real world. And but then Barbie blends further into the real world with like more like dark colored wardrobe.
mm,
And yeah, it just shows her transition, her journey, both physically and mentally. You know, this theme of existentialism, this realization of life and death and
mm,
the human experience. Yeah, so I think they did a really good job at that part. Of
mm.
course, also the makeup, where you have the doll and human complexion, the differences, the different textures. With the Barbies and Kens in Barbie Land, they have a plastic like texture to them. Their skin and the makeup, it feels glowy. It literally feels like plastic, but then in the real world, like yeah, the makeup is gone basically. It's more realistic. And of course there's this running joke about cellulite. Yeah, that was a really nice touch, yeah.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I think you talk about it. Yeah, you express it so well. I think, um, for me, other than the set design, what um what I think the good part of it is that it's also the joke writing. Yeah, like we talked about just now, and also
Yeah.
the storytelling. Yeah, and then for me, it's like the only part that is for me that I'm not that I don't which I don't like that much is yeah the part that I talked about just now lah. But then
Yeah, yeah.
overall, I think um everything, including the character arc, the whole story structure, for me is good.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't understand why she turned into a human in the end. Why she went to the when
Gynecologist.
yeah yeah I have
Yeah.
trouble pronouncing that word. Yeah, but then
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah a lot of people don't understand that. But for
Yeah.
me, it's a suitable character arc where like you see her going from a doll to a human is it's more about becoming human. For me, like her character arc is becoming human, and then the human experience is more about finding meaning, which I need to
Yeah.
quote from a book, no, quote from an author called Jordan Peterson. which
Ah,
I think is a bit controversial, but I need to
yeah,
quote
yeah,
from him, because I think I don't really agree with all his ideas, but
yeah.
then
Of course.
one of it is that I think he talks about life and meaning. Um, when our life, we need meaning to continue with our lives. So
Mm,
so what I see in this movie is that life is more about the constant effort to find meaning in our life, and then that is what she's experiencing, and then in the
true,
end she
true.
becomes a human. So
Yeah,
for me yeah, it's an arc. Yeah.
yeah, true, true. How do you explicitly dissect that ending? How do you interpret the ending? Because I saw a lot of different interpretations of the ending. Why does she go to the gynecologist?
Before that, she doesn't have
A
she
vagina,
yeah,
yeah,
she doesn't have that. Like both Ken and
and
her
a
doesn't have that.
uterus, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think in the end she really became a human. So maybe she starts to have some. She needs to do checkup lah. For me, it's like that. For me, it's like she starts to have some real human um, things happening. I don't know how to put it, but maybe menstruation or something like that. Maybe just a body checkup because she became human. Yeah,
That's
I think
that's
it's yeah, for me it's just that. It's quite simple.
yeah, that's one way of interpreting it. Maybe there is like no right answer,
Yeah.
but like some I saw some I'm also in like the majority of people who thought that she was maybe pregnant,
Oh.
and I saw some other people interpret it as she is going to the gynecologist to learn about her body, maybe
Oh.
learn about her reproductive organs.
Hmm, this is a good explanation. But
Yeah,
what I don't buy is the pregnant part.
yeah, yeah. I don't really believe that as well. Like that. That's the first impression I got.
The whole film is like about how we are in control with how women are in control with their own bodies. So for me, I don't think it can be interpreted as pregnant because she she actually rejected Ken.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and there are no other true um um like male protagonists.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no love
Nope.
interest. Yep. So for me, it's that. Yeah, so I don't really buy that though. Yeah, and then I think yeah, we can talk more about the meaning of all that because I think that is the real
Juicy
thing
part.
that is that yeah, the real juicy part, the things that we really need to talk about. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room lah. Feminism. Yeah,
Okay.
feminism. Yeah, but two guys talking about feminism is a bit hard lah. But
Yeah.
then
Okay.
I'll try my best
Yeah. Me
to talk
too.
about it
Yep.
and try not to say things that might offend people. But
Yeah.
then okay, so let me quote. Yeah, because I'm such a nerd. I read a lot. So let me quote from a book called The Gender Knot by Alan G. Johnson, which is a sociologist. Um, he's a guy, but he talks about it in the book where he's a guy, but he can see the problems with he can see structural problems in society in the whole system. So okay, so I can talk about it, and then the thing about the film is that they talk a lot about patriarchy. Oh, sorry. So patriarchy is so what is patriarchy? So I think I can quote from the book about the definition. So it's like so they say that he says that a society is patriarchal to the degree that it promotes male privilege by being male dominated, male identified, and male centered. So so I think that in this film it actually plays out quite showy. Yeah, it actually shows it
Yeah.
in a very ex like how can I say it?
Extreme kind
Yeah,
of
extreme
an
manner.
extreme
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
yeah. It's like Ken learning about patriarchy and about how men runs the world. And then there are
Yeah,
two
but
parts to it, though. Yeah, what you can talk about
yeah, but
it.
also like Ken in the real world, he also realizes that men don't control literally everything. He needs to still have the credentials. He's struggling to like find a job in the real world. He can't even beach. He cannot even beach there
Yeah,
because he doesn't know how to. He's not a
swim.
lifeguard, and he
Yeah,
doesn't even know how to swim.
yeah,
So yeah, he and like Ken. There's this part where Ken demands to get a job, but like this other man from the real world says that he needs to have the credentials, he needs to have the degrees.
MBA. Yeah,
Yeah. So it provides some like subversive angles towards what it's trying to present
yeah. I think
with
that
patriarchy.
it it actually presents it as a system more than a personal thing,
Yeah.
where it's not the people's fault that men control the world and all that.
Yeah.
And in some degree, men are also victims of the
Yeah.
patriarchal system. So
Definitely.
I actually written an essay about it where about it's about the film Brokeback Mountain,
Ah.
and then
Yeah.
we delve into like how is there's a word for it, there's a phrase for it called toxic masculinity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like there are certain expectations for men
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be real men.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, there are two parts to it. One part is about dominance, like how men are more can succeed more easily than women in society. But in on the other hand, men must fulfill some traits to become um, quote unquote real men
Yeah.
because because society has some expectations for men. So like you said, like men, if men want to go into position of power, they need to have a certain credential.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that credential, you are considered as a failure. And to compensate for that failure, you actually need to perform or act in a way that asserts dominance. And then that becomes and that and that adds on to the experience of women. And oftentimes, right, we can see that okay, I think this needs more reading or more research, but
Yeah.
oftentimes you can see that in the news, right, men who abuses women
Yeah.
actually are people who lost their jobs, people who maybe can't find meaning in their lives and all that.
Yeah.
Some of it because they find the need, they find that they have to act in this way to assert dominance, to tell people that yeah, I'm the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least I'm in control with the women that I have. I think this is the one of the reasons. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me is that. So yeah, I think the movie brings out a lot of ideas that make me think about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
What
a
about
very
your experience about it?
thought. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, let me bring up my notes.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Too much
It's
info
a
that we need.
yeah.
There I have pages
There's
of
just
notes.
so much to dissect, so much to digest. Oh my god. Yep. So okay. So in a sense, I don't understand why people can say that this movie is anti-men. I really do not get the notion. Maybe they just did not understand it, or maybe they did not even watch it. I don't like I don't understand why people can say that. But yeah, it this movie to me it capitalizes on the notion with what Barbie represents. You know, we can be anything, and not just women. Not just women can be anything, but also men can be anything. All of us can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is what Barbie represents, possibility. You know, it not only empowers women, but it also like validates men. It like completely destroys the gender roles and masculinity and patriarchy, and also in a sense matriarchy, because it shows two different scenarios, with the Barbies controlling Barbie Land and all the Kens controlling Barbie Land, and of course patriarchy in the real world. It shows us that extremism on both sides is wrong. One entity cannot have all the power. It needs to have a balance. We need to have a balance of different voices from all walks of life. Yeah, and
Yeah, I
yeah,
think the character that demonstrate this, the to me that is the
yeah.
most important character that demonstrate this, other than the two protagonists, is actually Alan.
Ah,
Yeah, I think Alan doesn't fit into, for me, my interpretation. It's
huh.
not it. Yeah, it's the meta commentary that says that Alan is not important in the Barbie line. Yeah, this is one
Yeah.
part of it. But for me, Alan also represents the other kind of man that
Mm-hmm.
exists in the world where they don't fit into the masculinity part.
Mm.
Yeah, for me, this character exhibits a few criteria. Like, he's not as manly as the Kens.
Mm-hmm.
He's more.
Mm-hmm.
You can even say that he's a bit feminine.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I would think that this character is a good example of your point, where we need to have different voices, different types of people. We need to accept that everyone is different. There's no one way that fits everyone.
Mm.
Yeah, I think this character actually does that. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then let
it
me
kind of
see.
speaks on behalf of the minorities of the world.
Yeah, true. And
Yeah.
then we can also see that, hmm, yeah, we can also see that on the part of the women, right? The part where I don't like, the
Uh,
monologue, right?
uh,
Is
okay.
okay. So before I watched the movie, right, I actually saw some people posting on Facebook where
Yeah.
they actually put the whole quote. They translated the whole quote into Mandarin, and
Mm.
then they
Mm.
put it on Facebook. And then I saw a few of my friends sharing that part, and actually they
Mm.
said that, oh, when I watch this and when I listen to this in the theater, I actually cried.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so I think that this part, right, although I don't like it, I think that it it really like speaks to a lot of people experiencing this kind of stuff every day, especially
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also heard like some of my friends they literally are moved to tears by the movie. And yeah, specifically this America Ferrera's monologue, which in my opinion she completely eats it up. I really liked her performance in this.
Yeah.
But I can see why, like why you and a lot of other people think that it's like too preachy and it's too explicit, but it speaks to the experience of a lot of women, and it resonates with them. So I still think it's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
is like one of the most important parts of the movie to them.
yeah, I think so too. But yeah, it's just my opinion
Yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah. Of course, of
Because
course.
yeah, I speak from a storytelling point of view
Yeah,
where, yeah, but
yeah, of
then
course.
it's
Yeah.
quite meaningful if you read it as simply literature.
Mm.
Yeah, is so good. I have this on my screen now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be thin but not too thin, and you can never say that you want to be thin. Like, and
Mm.
then yeah, like I saw a lot of quotes that they are so good, they are so well written. Yeah, I think the writing part, which is split between Greta Gerwig and Noah
Noah
Baumbach.
Baumbach. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that um, Noah Baumbach is writing more about the male side
Male
of
purpose.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, male's
Yeah.
perspective, and then Greta Gerwig is on this. I think this is written by Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is so good. And
Yeah.
then yeah,
Mm-hmm.
again
Mm-hmm.
on yeah the storytelling part which I don't like,
Oh yeah.
but I think it's quite meaningful. I think it's also meaningful for a lot of people though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw this article on Facebook.
yeah.
There is this. I think it's from Taiwan. It's a Taiwan girl. She went to watch the movie with her mother. Her mother is like a more conformist. She's more
Ah,
traditional,
mm,
and she was like bound by the male dominant society in the past, and like I saw what she wrote here. Like after she got out of the theater, her mother like was just drowning in thoughts, and something like it woke something in her. The movie woke something in her, and like here it says one of the most memorable moments for her is some scene that just flashes for like 10 minutes. I think it's part of the spell breaking
mm,
montage, that part.
yeah.
Like there's this line here. I'm gonna like translate because it's in Mandarin.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't deserve this. Why do I need this? Why do I have this? What did I do to deserve this award or something?
Mm,
And the mother said to her daughter that she had a dream of becoming a reporter, but then because her mother is from like the older generation,
mm,
and women from that generation are like not really allowed to pursue their dreams. They're not allowed to like have like these opposing thoughts,
mm,
or yeah, because they think that men will look down on them, they will fear them, and they will not have a companion or someone to accompany them through their life. So she repressed these dreams, and she always tolerated the misconducts of men. And here it says that her marriage was not really successful because her husband like keeps going out. He was always not at home. And yeah, this particularly, I think, America Ferrera's monologue here, it wakes something, it woke something in her.
yeah.
What's the correct grammar? Woke something in her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just yeah, I get what you mean. I think yeah, you're right. I think like this quote, this film actually does um like how can put it? Okay, so the plot in the film actually happens in real life where
yeah,
people actually broke out of their mental state and
yeah.
they actually like, oh, so this is how it all works and all that. But
Yeah.
it doesn't work for everyone though.
True,
This, yeah,
true,
I must say
true.
this.
Yeah,
It and it works more on women more than men.
yeah,
Yep. And then
yeah. I can see like pretty clearly based on the reviews. Yep.
yep, and then I think for men, yeah, I think a lot of people would think that it is anti-men because anti-men because I think that um, I think that people like men, normal, not like normal men without much reading or without much, I mean, not without much reading though. I think I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
offend people, but
Yeah.
people who really don't really have the exposure to gender issues, we cannot blame them because they don't really have the exposure to it. For me, right, I actually have this education about gender during my college years
Mm-hmm.
in Malaysia, where my
Ah.
teachers are from Taiwan, and
Ah.
then they are actually they are quite progressive. Like in
Yeah.
hindsight, I think that they are really really progressive, and then they taught us a lot about gender issues and maybe social issues and how we see the world and all that. I think that
Yeah.
changed my life and my worldview.
Ah. Wow.
So I think the reason why I understand the film and yeah, I read a lot about this stuff is
Yeah.
because of them. I think that at least in Malaysia and I think even in America, there are still a lack of this type of education.
Yeah.
And then the the progressives, the liberals are becoming more they are become I think everyone has become extreme,
Yeah.
you know. If you are a liberal, you are like extreme liberal. And if you are
Yeah.
conservative, you are extremely conservative.
Yeah.
So so when people are too extreme, right, you tend to not listen to people who are extreme.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't trust them.
Yeah.
The first thing is you don't trust them. The second thing is they wouldn't try to understand what you think. They would blame
Yeah.
you and everything. I speak for both sides.
Yeah.
So I think that both sides doesn't listen to the other side. And yeah, I don't think they listen to them enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry that this became a political commentary.
No.
Though
No. No.
it's
No. No.
like it's more like what I need to explain why people don't understand the film. It's not because it's
It.
their fault. It's because that when people become too extreme,
Yeah.
when people in who key opinion leaders
Yeah.
have become too extreme on both
Yeah.
sides,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
now people don't really get to expose to both sides of the argument, and then they don't really have the chance to think about what they really believe in, and they don't have exposure to all of this, and so they don't understand the movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, all of this like connected back together. Yeah,
Yeah.
then yeah,
Yeah. And it's actually an ironic cycle because this movie condemns extremism.
yep,
Yeah. So it's kind of ironic in a way, really.
yeah. I think this film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why I said at the beginning, right? You cannot watch these two films together because you
Yeah.
need so much of thinking and so much of thinking about your
Analyzing.
life,
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
about the movie, thinking
The
about your life,
theme.
thinking about the
Yeah.
world and everything.
Yeah. The structure, the societal structure, and everything.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I think this summer is quite interesting because it have
Yeah.
two films that make me think about stuff a lot, and
Yeah.
then the effects of it is like so long. I think of it after so long
Yeah.
after the movie.
True.
It's like 3 days, 4 days after the movie. I started thinking about, oh shit, I
Yeah.
suddenly understand all of this. On
Uh-huh.
oh shit, this is
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happened.
Yep, I never had this kind of experience for like a movie. Even for those like deeper, thought-provoking movies, I never had one this divisive and this like there are so many layers. I just wow, this is something else. This is truly something else.
Yeah, I think yeah.
I don't think
I
I've seen a movie this divisive before.
I would like. I'm
Because
not sure. I'm not really sure because
of course, like some movies are divisive in the sense that a lot of people like it and a lot of people don't, and there are like two sides. But this movie has so many different sides. There are so many different angles
mm,
to this. So this is kind of like an unprecedented thing for me.
yeah. Okay. What else you got? Like in your about the meaning of the film. Like we can talk about other stuff because yeah, we have addressed the elephant in the room. Yeah, now we can talk about the other stuff.
You know, I know some girls that did not really vibe with the movie, and here
Mm,
I have a review from some American girl.
yeah.
She kind of like borderline hated the movie.
Why?
Okay, I'm gonna quote her.
Okay.
For a movie that is meant to champion and showcase female empowerment, it is ironically sexist. Writers Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach paint a very obvious mirroring in Barbie, which we all know they mirror Barbie Land and the real world. They portray Barbie Land as a matriarchal society and the real world as a patriarchal society. Barbie Land is portrayed as a perfect society,
Mm,
which I don't agree, where women do no wrong and they are perfect, which I
mm,
also do not agree.
mm,
Where in while in the real world, it is implied that women have no power there,
mm.
which I also don't really agree with. And men are in charge of everything, which I also don't really agree with. Because we have the female doctor in the hospital, she is a doctor. She's not just a nurse, she's a doctor. So I don't know. Not only, not only, she says, not only is this grossly incorrect and simplification of a very complex issue, I understand, it because Barbie is still like you can say that it's a kids movie. It's rated PG-13
It's
in
definitely not for
America.
kids though.
Yeah, true, but it's still like kind of marketed for kids.
Yeah.
So like maybe Greta Gerwig decided to like speak these themes using a megaphone and a microphone at the end of a megaphone. So I kind of get where she's going with this, but okay. Yeah, it erases, she says, it erases the strength of women in the real world.
Hmm.
Like, Greta, are you really implying that women are currently at the status to only serve and to please men? I don't get how did she interpret it like this? Do you
Okay.
really think you are that oppressed while wearing designer clothing and making millions each year?
I
This is,
think
okay,
I
I'm done with
think
this,
right.
just no.
My comment is like um when you say that the mirroring thing, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with you that I don't agree
yeah,
with her quote
yeah,
because in Barbie Land, it's like they actually ignored the man, so that
yeah,
it allows patriarchy to go into the society. It's the same as it's the same as how liberal ideologies allow conservative like extremists to go into the system because they ignore some of the people. It's the
yeah,
same idea.
yeah,
So yeah, I think she just doesn't get it.
yeah,
Yeah, this is
yeah,
the first
true.
part. The second part is that in Barbie Land,
Mm.
the patriarchal system is actually quite early in the process. I
Mm.
would believe
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, yes.
I would believe that in the past, before we have this society and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I in the beginning of life, for me, I think is
Uh-huh.
that we don't really have this issue where when
Uh-huh.
people don't have society, when society doesn't exist, when
Yeah.
people just group together to hunt for food and to
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
reproduce and all that, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think this kind of issues exist in that time.
Mm.
It's only until we have this society thing, we have this systems thing, that we
Mm.
have this kind of issues. And
Mm.
then I think that I think that now in our world make we are trying to make the world a better place where yeah, she's right.
Mm.
The world doesn't work like this anymore. The world doesn't really work like oh women must serve men and all that. But in the
Yeah.
past, it does happen. In
True.
the past,
True.
men
Yeah.
really dominated a lot. It's not that they
Yeah.
don't dominate now. It's just that yeah, like the person in the film said, we just we just do it better
Hide it better,
and
yeah.
hide it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then and then she misses the fact that the patriarchy in Barbie Land just started. And yeah, I think for me, my response to her quote is this lah.
Yeah. Oh,
Mm,
I also saw this like interpretation of like the I think it's a before I think the last 30 minutes where like Barbie apologizes to Ken and Ken proposes to have a position at the Supreme Court of Barbie Land, but then the president turned him down,
mm,
but still gave him like a lower position of like the district court or something. One reviewer, I had a quite a long discussion with him. He said that this particular story beat is reductive to the feminism movement because it it shows that Barbie Land is reverting back to extremism, to matriarchy, which I don't really get where he's coming from because like women in the real world also fought long and hard to have these positions of power they have now. So, and there is this quote stuck in my mind. I already, uh, okay, let me find the quote in the movie. Hold on a second. Which is,
mm,
oh, the narrator said, well, the Kens had to start somewhere, and one day the Kens will have as much power and influence as women have in the real world. So it's showing that women have made progress to uh, achieve what they deserve in the real world, and the Kens are also like working towards equality in Barbie Land. So I don't know how other people can
mm.
interpret this in a different way.
Um, from in my opinion, I think that during the screening, my thought about it was a bit negative though. I was like,
Uh huh.
hey, you are doing the same thing that is happening that is happening in real life where hey we want to have women representation somewhere and the man said no, it's not. Yeah, we are based on your qualifications and all that, which is not entirely true. Um, so my thought about it was quite negative. I was like, why are
Mm-hmm.
you doing this? You should have done better or something. Yeah, my thoughts now are a bit confused though. I think that yeah, I think
Yeah.
that a better ending to it should be like, yeah, we should share power and we no longer want to ignore you and put you on the side to like become a figurine and about to become a statue or to become a cheerleader for women. It's not like that though. I I I I don't see why they want to end it like that. Yeah,
Okay.
you actually brought up
Okay.
this in my mind though. Because I think like would it be better for them to because for me right, Barbie Land
Mm-hmm.
is more like a utopia. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Uh-huh.
basically
Yeah.
something that doesn't exist in real life. It's a perfect world. But if your ideology is being equal, shouldn't the ending be the sharing of power, the equal representation of everything?
Okay. My interpretation is that equality doesn't come as a present. It doesn't come
Hmm.
in an instant. They have to fight for it. The Kens have to fight for their equality just like women have in the real world. They did not get it overnight. They have to like kind of in a more blunt sense, they have to earn their
Hmm.
equality.
But
That's how
does
I
it
interpret it.
that is it a bit ironic that in real life where
Mm-hmm.
women struggle to, yeah, have to struggle for their rights. But then in the perfect world, they would
Mm-hmm.
want the Kens to struggle as they do. Is it for me, right?
Mm.
It's a bit like, okay, I'm an unpaid intern working at the working at a big corporation where they treat me badly, and then when I open a company which I think is perfect, but I ask them to become unpaid interns. It for me it feels a bit like this, you know. It's
Mm.
like
Mm.
I suddenly feel like, hey, this sounds a bit, for me, right?
I can,
If it's a
yeah.
perfect world,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
What I would do is that, okay, since I have experienced firsthand that fighting for rights is so hard, why don't I give
Uh-huh.
you the rights now? Why don't I give you
Mm.
the representation now if I have the chance to build a perfect world? Why don't we, or why don't we give fair chance to everyone and no one becomes um, subordinate to another, or you have representation? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It feels a bit like revenge.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Women
can.
has
Okay.
been fighting for their rights for so long in the real world. In Barbie
Mm.
Land, we want to do this to you so that you understand what we struggle for. But I think
Okay.
I think if it's a utopia, it doesn't work this way, right?
Mm. I kind of get where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, will I get cancelled after the first episode of our podcast? Yeah, maybe I will, because
Yeah.
we talk a lot of shit on just
Yeah.
now though, especially me. And
Yeah. Yeah.
then I think, yeah, that's my opinion, which
Yeah.
I'm not a conservative, I'm not a liberal, I'm somewhere in between.
Mm.
So I think that, yeah, I just don't like extreme views.
Mm.
Yeah, you brought up this uh, yeah, you brought up this confusion in in during the screening of the movie for me lah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, good point. But yeah, you're right too lah. You're right too. We shouldn't like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Change.
understand
Yeah.
where you are coming from. Yeah, it's just my thought that, yeah, shouldn't it be like this? Yeah.
Mm. I
Mm.
understand. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you
You
have,
know,
yeah.
and during like the after the Barbies take back over Barbie Land, I kind of expected it to progress to a full-on war between Barbie versus Ken, but like
Mm.
that didn't happen. And
Mm.
what they did was also really good. What they did was also really good. Yeah, it's a choice.
I
I think
think
it's a good choice.
there are two parts to this. The first part is that I think that in the storytelling sense, if they go on like this, it will be forever.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
true.
well, this is the first part. The second part is that I don't think the filmmakers want to make it as boys versus girls, men versus women.
Yeah,
I think they just want everyone to have. I just think they want to. I think the core message of the movie is like everyone should be their own person, and
yeah,
everyone should be respected
yeah,
as who they are, regardless of their gender. Yeah, for me that
yeah,
is the core message of the film, which I applaud.
yeah.
And but then, yeah, like the issue I said just now really undermines this a bit lah. I
Mm.
think it's a bit like revenge. Yeah, so
Yeah,
uh, but yeah, I think it's fine. I think the message is quite good. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, this
Mm.
film celebrates, like I said in my Instagram review,
Mm.
individualism and
Mm.
gives us validation for breaking away from gender roles or like just the roles we are assigned like by society. You know, we get put in this box, and now it's telling us to leap out of the box and discover more opportunities, more possibilities. Maybe because that is what Barbie represents, possibility. And seeing it from the male perspective, it also explicitly displays the anxiety and pressure that men face when dealing with toxic masculinity, as well as the insecurity that comes with a lack of intimacy and love. And this is something that is not talked very often. It is not literally not talked at all, which is a lack of intimacy from how men get lack of intimacy and love and basically respect from each other in a sense. That's why men commit more suicide, men commit more serious crimes, because we are so conformed by this male dominant society that we, like you said, we have to do certain things to make us look like real men. But then some of us are just not that, and we repress these feelings, and sooner or later these feelings, they will pile up, and it reaches the limit, it bursts out of the brim, and that's when extremism happens. That's when radicalism happens. And it also dissects on that and criticizes that. So I think the film did a really, really good job at balancing different perspectives.
Yeah. Yeah, your point goes back to what I said about toxic masculinity. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that you need to be manly means that you cannot yearn for love and care from others. You need to be independent, you need to be strong, because when you are strong, you can protect your family, you can
Yeah.
protect your wife, your children. I think these are expectations that are for men, and they will never question. They will never. Yeah, they are. It seems like a fact that men must not cry. Men
Yeah.
must. Yeah, even in the film, right, where
Yeah.
he cries and then he said, "Oh, I'm a it's
Liberals.
liberal, yeah, man. Where I accept that men
I know
can cry,
crying is not. Yeah. I know
something like
crying
that."
isn't. Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think that is also quite a good joke, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think,
It is. Yeah.
yeah, it's like you know that you can cry, but you still don't bring yourself to cry, especially in
Yeah.
front of other women. You
Yeah.
don't want to
Even
appear to
in
be
front of
weak,
other
men.
men.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
We don't
then,
show our emotions enough.
yeah,
Men don't show their emotions enough.
yeah. I think from this perspective, I would think that, yeah, I experienced this firsthand though. I feel like
Yeah.
my own experience of, because I'm quite a sensitive person.
Mm.
Yeah, it's actually a replacement for I cry a lot. I'm
Yeah.
a sensitive
Yeah.
person is a replacement for I cry a lot.
Yeah.
And then I used to think that this is a bad thing, that I need to try to adjust.
Yeah.
But now I feel like, yeah, there's no need to adjust.
Yeah. There's
I
no
think
need to
that,
repress
yeah,
feelings. Just let it
yeah,
all out.
and
It's
then
better. It's more soothing. It's more healthy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it's better for us to embrace who we are.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, that is the core of the film.
Yeah. Barbies and Kens, they don't have to live in the shadow of each other. Men and
Yeah,
women don't have to live in each other's shadow. We it celebrates individualism.
yeah,
We can be
and
whoever we want to be.
yeah,
We don't
and
have
then,
to
mm,
listen to other people's. Maybe we need to listen to other people's advices and opinions, but We don't need to explicitly follow them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think this is the core of the film,
yeah,
and I think in a way, we must really, yeah, in a way, right, separating Barbie and Ken
yeah.
actually changes. Okay, firstly, it changes the branding. It
Mm-hmm.
changes what it represents.
Mm.
And then the other thing is that you are telling people that uh, this this notion about getting a guy of your dreams or the girl of your dreams is actually not a given.
Yeah,
It's actually not something that it's not a must. It's
yeah,
not a
yeah.
need. It's
Right.
actually something you can choose.
Mm.
So for me, right, liberal thoughts are about the choice you can make. Yeah, I think
Right.
that it's about choice, and individualism is also about choice. So
Yeah.
in the end, we met our life is lived by our own selves. So
Mm.
we must make our own choices, and yeah, we must make our own choices and become ourselves. For
Yeah.
me, that is the most important part.
Mm.
Yeah, I think wow, we wow, we thought like t time went on so fast. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
I
been an
think
hour.
yeah. It's yeah. This is the first episode. We actually planned to do like 30 to 45 minutes, and we ended up now with an hour. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think we think we have covered uh, almost everything. Yeah, and then yeah.
We still haven't talked about the performances.
Oh yeah, we can definitely talk about that. And
Yeah, of
then,
course.
mm, yeah, what do you think?
Margot Robbie as Barbie, perfect casting. Of course, there is a joke. I
Yeah.
love that joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it breaks the fourth wall. I love it so much. Yeah, Margot Robbie is the emotional centerpiece of the movie. A lot of the dramatic focus, the more emotional moments, are all centered on her, and she does an excellent job at portraying those emotions and those complications, the existential dread. Yeah, that was great. But of course, I think we all, literally everybody who watches the movie, can agree that Ryan Gosling is the standout.
Yeah, it's the
I
MVP.
love everything he did here, the nuances. He just he does this very well where he tries to be cool in a very cringe way. Yeah, Ken takes himself like way too seriously. He has no sense of humor. I love it. Absolutely love it. Like he should get I think he will definitely get a supporting actor nomination at the Oscars, but for a win, I don't know, people have been saying it, but he could win. A lot of people could get behind him winning. I could get behind him winning. He totally deserves it. He completely stole the show. He stole every second he is in. Like I loved his performance.
Hmm.
He has that energy, perfect comedic chops, perfect comedic timing, and yeah, he is completely Knuff. He is Knuff.
Yeah, I think, yeah, for me, I want to talk about how when you put Margot Robbie and Emma McKay together, they are actually not that similar. Their looks are actually not that similar.
Yeah.
There's often a meme where, that, yeah, she even said herself, like Margot Robbie said that she got asked by people that are you the are you the actress from
Oh,
Sex
oh,
Education?
oh, yeah,
Eh, but
yeah,
when you really put them side by side, right, they don't really look that.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially in this movie with the makeup and the
with different
costumes,
hair.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Especially different hair. Yeah, especially different hair.
yeah, different hair. I think
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think they are that they don't look that much alike though. But
Even
then
for me, there was some confusion in the past when like Emma Emma Mackey.
Mackie, yeah, Mackie.
Emma Mackey first appeared in Sex Education. In the trailer, I was like, "Is that Margot Robbie?" But then, yeah, it cleared up. Like they don't have like that much in common, but I can see the resemblance. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just the blonde hair.
yeah, yeah. True. Yeah, yeah. Because she has blonde hair in Sex Education. Yeah.
Yeah,
By the way, I
then
love that show. I absolutely love that show. Season 4 is coming out on September. Cannot wait. Final season. Oh my
yeah.
god.
I I deserve to be I deserve to be scolded by people because I haven't watched that show. Yeah, I don't
Ah.
really watch that
Okay.
much TV though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, you're right about Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. I especially like Margot Robbie a lot for all her performances.
Yeah.
Yeah, from let me think, Wolf of Wall Street
Yeah.
to I, Tonya
Yeah. Definitely.
to Suicide Squad.
Yeah. 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 She was
Yeah,
great in Suicide
both
Squad.
both Suicide
Yeah,
Squad.
both
She's great in
Suicide
both.
Squads. Yeah. Even
Yeah,
though
the
the
first
first
one,
one is like,
yeah, it sucks. Yeah, but
yeah,
then,
yeah,
but she's good in it, especially the
yeah.
part where she hangs
She,
on top of the cage, the one at the
yeah,
start of the film. Yeah, I
yeah.
rewatched that part so many times, and
Oh,
I hate that movie, but I like the scene. But then,
wait.
and then in this movie, oh yeah, and then also in the Birds of Prey.
I haven't
Yeah,
watched Birds of Prey.
it's good though. It's good.
Uh,
Uh, it's definitely better than the first Suicide Squad.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and it's good. It's good. And then through this film, yeah, her performance is great.
yeah.
It's just yeah,
Excellent.
and yeah,
She,
and also in
hmm.
Bombshell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was nominated for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I think for yeah, her performance is so good. I noticed that she's Margot Robbie, but then
Ah.
every time she plays the characters quite good, and then the characters is quite different.
Mm.
Yeah, you have Barbie on one side and Harley Quinn on the other side. There's a meme now where
Yeah.
where they say that she's both bad, she's hot and she's cold, and she's good and she's bad and something like that lah. And I think
Yeah.
she's good in that way. And then in
Yeah.
also it's a different kind of character. In I Can is a different kind of character. She's
Yeah.
so good. And
Yeah.
Ryan
She really.
Gosling,
Yeah.
yeah,
She really has proved herself to be not just a pretty face. She really has the acting chops.
the pretty face helps though.
True. True.
Yeah,
Definitely true. Yep.
I mean, her performance helps her to win awards and get nominations and maybe even get jobs. But her
Yeah.
pretty face sells tickets. That
Yeah.
is the truth
That.
of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I am not intending to be sexist or to be objectifying, but I need to clear this up. I need to clear this up. Yeah,
Yeah.
just to be a responsible media person. So I
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
clear
Yeah.
this up though. Yeah. Uh, for my part, I think that's all. Do you have anything to add?
I already said that America Ferrera's performance, I really liked it.
Hmm.
And, other supporting characters that stand out. Kate McKinnon really worked for me. Kate McKinnon in her role as Weird Barbie, that really worked for me. I
Yeah.
thought she was not gonna work for me in the trailer, but she did. She really did work for me. And Will Ferrell is also a really good casting choice. I really liked it.
Over the top. His
Yeah.
performance is over the top. Yeah, but it's good. It's a good thing.
He has some of the best lines. Will Ferrell has some of the best lines in the movie. Like, please call me mother. I love that.
Yeah.
And there's this. I'm a son of a mother. I'm a mother of a son. And the whole cinema, the whole hall erupted. I love it.
Hmm. I think yeah, I would say that I think the supporting cast is like so packed with good actors though.
Yeah.
Even the director of the director of another film. What is the name of the film? Uh, what's the name of the film? I think it's last year where the person goes on revenge on men.
Oh, Promising Young Woman.
Yeah. The director of
Yeah.
Promising Young Woman is
Yeah,
also in the
Emerald Fennell.
cast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
she's
Mitch,
not in it
right?
much.
Mitch.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think the
that was a
joke
really
on
good
her,
job.
the joke
Yeah,
on her is
yeah,
really
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
oh, she's discontinued. Let's not focus on her. It's like
yeah.
so good, man.
Yeah. Oh, there is this also like when the stereotypical Barbie, Margot Robbie, gets depressed, and there is this entire advertisement selling her like the depressed Barbie thing. Best scene of the movie. Best scene of the movie. I think yeah, best scene of the
Hmm.
movie. I love that scene.
It's good, but I would argue that it's not the best scene. But yeah, I think yeah, like I said, the best scene for me is the opening scene where they sing the song, and then I think
Ah,
one of the lines was I'm not finished with singing. And when someone interrupts, I'm not finished. Yeah, something like that. One of the lines in the
ah,
song. And then how they change the song when she becomes depressed and thinks about death and all
ah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's like so good, man.
yeah,
The part where she drinks water and pours water on
yeah,
her. So that was
yeah,
like that
yeah.
was so good. And
So many
then
great jokes in this movie.
yeah. It's like
Love the humor.
yeah.
Oh my god.
And then in the real world, it's like, Mom, how you learn how to drive like this? That was this guy.
Ah, yeah.
Is it that? Yeah,
And
it's that.
yeah,
That one is good. That one is good.
yeah. There's also this line by also one of the actors in Sex Education. Like, is a it, it's a pretty controversial line. I think he says like, I don't hold any power. Am I a woman? That line got a lot of laughs in my theater, but some of it like took the line too seriously and flamed it.
Which
Or
part is
like,
it?
the is it the one of the Mattel workers
Yeah,
wearing the blue vest, the blue shirt?
yeah.
He says he says, uh, what's the quote again? I hold no power. Am I a woman?
Oh.
I don't. I'm not really. What's the
Yeah,
quote again? Let me.
I
Yeah.
think that it's satire, Satire
Yeah.
doesn't work with
It
everyone.
doesn't work with everyone. Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to have some sort of foundation in what you know.
Yeah.
It's
That's true.
something like if you know, you know.
Yeah.
It's like if you know it, then you get it. If you don't, then you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it's like that.
True.
It's
True.
not. Yeah. Yeah. I think this is one of the problems with how people perceive the movie. Is like you need to have some sort of understanding of the current issues
Mm-hmm.
to be enjoyable, to find it enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really true.
Yeah, it's the same as Oppenheimer lah. But then,
Yeah.
but then we'll talk about it next time. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I still need to like. I just got back from the theater. I still need to like
sure.
uh, solidify my thoughts.
Take your time, take your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be to be honest, I think that yeah, this discussion is quite good, man.
Yeah. It is.
Love it, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now let's talk about the next episode. What are we going to talk about in the next episode?
Sure. Yeah.
I think for our audience and our listeners, I think next week we'll continue with the Barbenheimer trend,
Yeah.
where next week we'll be talking about Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
and
Christopher
then
Nolan's. A lot of it, like saying it's his masterpiece,
yeah,
Oppenheimer.
we'll talk about it. We'll
We'll
discuss
get to
about it
that. We'll
next
get to
week.
that.
Yeah,
Nice
we'll get
and
to that.
yep.
Yeah, so if you like our podcast, just subscribe to us. Yeah, I think we'll be posting on YouTube because we have video,
Yeah.
and we also be posting on every single place where you get your podcast.
You
So
know, Apple
it,
TV, Apple or
Apple
Spotify or something.
Music,
Yeah.
Spotify,
Yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah.
yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Nice.
basically, if you guys like what we talk about or you hate what we talk about, let's just comment and we'll discuss about it.
That's a great
And then
tagline, by the way. That's a
yeah,
great tagline. It's the Barbie movie tagline. If you love Barbie or if you hate Barbie, this movie is for you.
yeah, yeah.
If you
I think
love
we are
this
gonna steal it.
discussion,
Yeah, if you
yeah,
love what we say, that if you love our discussion or you hate our discussion, just comment and like and subscribe.
yep, and follow us on Instagram and Letterboxd.
Yeah,
The link is on
letterbox
the
small thing.
description below.
I don't have a letterbox
Yeah. Okay.
yet. Yet.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just follow us on Instagram. Yeah, we'll put
Yep.
our links in the description. Yep.
Yep.
I think that's all from us today. Yeah, see you guys
See you
next
later.
time.
See you next time.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
bye.